No infringement rights there with that song playing. So we got that out of the way. Welcome to the RETR Morning Show. My name is Scott Hutzbeth. If you don't know me, I'm your host with Devin Dubuque, the
What's up? What's up?
co-host, and we are excited beyond belief to have Katie on the call. We should just not do the green room anymore. Let's just open it up at 10 to like, I mean, like
Let everybody
there's
in.
so many, let everybody in. There's so many good things that happen and conversations that happen and things that are said. And Katie, you didn't say anything live yet. So, all right,
We had
Katie
to hold her
from,
back.
but we had to hold her back. Yes, yes, yes. So Katie from North Dakota, is that right?
Yep.
All right. And Katie, let's get started. And welcome to the RETR Morning Show. Thank you so much for taking your time. I love what you've done, the numbers you've put up in a very, very short period of time. Most importantly, one of the things you said was agent relationships. You've been able to scale very quickly, and I'm excited to share with the group here what you're doing. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am from Fargo, North Dakota. If you're not familiar, I always like when I'm hearing other people speak to kind of center like where are they in comparison to my market. So our surrounding areas, if you include the surrounding towns and the college kids and everything, we come in at just under 200,000. So
Okay.
small city, big town, depending on who you ask. And I, as I was telling Scott, started my mortgage career in 2021 as a consumer direct. The bank I was working for was kind of playing around with that, but I was mainly just shadowing a lender for a full year. And then I switched over to a broker side and became a loan officer assistant for 2022. And then 2023 went out on my own. So I was able
Wow.
to triple my business 3 years in a row. I did 6 deals in 2022. And then by 2024 last year, I closed 71 deals. So not a mega producer yet by any means, but have been able to scale quickly and hopefully can continue to do that from here.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but you scaled and did that in the one of the worst years, I believe, in the history of the mortgage business. So I'm excited to hear how you did it, how you're doing it, and what are you doing different that other people are having, struggling to do. So so what do you think what was the one thing? I mean, you're in the banking business, you were a loan officer assistant, you said, all right, I mean, can you tell the story? Because I think it's kind of cute. Like what like how did you get into the mortgage business?
Yeah, so I actually loved being in retail. When I was in college, I was in retail. You're able to move up really fast in retail, which is nice, and keeps you really engaged. So I was working for Bath and Body Works. I was working for Old Navy, and I had a boss that was in his 40s and was like, get out of this now. Like you're gonna be 35 years old, making $100,000, and you're gonna be stuck, and you're gonna miss all your kids' weekend activities, and like you don't want to be in this long term, even if you think you do. So he shifted me over to banking, and I liked being part of the personal finance industry, but I was so bored. I got like 3 steps a day. Everyone hated their
Mm,
lives. No one worked hard. Everyone hated their spouse. I was like, there's no happy, like, my parents are happily married. And I was like, they must be the only people on the face of the earth because I now work with 50 middle-aged people who all just come to work every day and hate their lives and complain about the same stuff. And I just cannot stand it. But I was
oh
like
no.
sticking it out because I didn't have anything better to do, and it was COVID, and I was glad that I had a job at all because some of my friends were getting laid off and all the things. So mortgage director approached me at the end of 2020 and was like, "Hey, like, what do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "Thank you so much for asking, not this. I do love talking to people about their finances. I just don't want to be bored. In my free time, I'm like reading all this entrepreneur stuff. Like I've always been drawn to that like personal development thing. But my whole thing was like, I'm not creative. Like, I'm not going to go start my own business. I'm not like, I've always liked working. So I don't really know." And lo and behold, I was pretty much describing that I should be a loan officer. So big
I love
thanks
it.
to Mike for that.
All right. Thanks, Mike. So what is it that you're doing that's like allowing you, and I'm getting messages, and I won't share any messages that I'm getting from other people that hope the rates stay up, but what are you doing that's allowing you to take market share with real estate agents?
I think a big thing that is maybe counterintuitive to a lot of advice that I have heard, but has helped me is taking on difficult leads. I've been on a lot of coaching calls, I've been to mortgage conferences, and they say, you got to deny fast. Like you can't close every deal, not every client is for you. That is true, but I think that in the last few years, leads are not a dime a dozen. And it's not just about that lead, it's about that agent relationship. If you
Mm,
are courting this agent and you're taking them to coffee and you're saying, hey, I'd love to do business for you and with you, and they send you a lead and you within 2 hours say, yeah, they can't buy, yeah, they're denied, but can you send me another one? Like,
mm,
we're in a market where that's a hit to their ego. That might be the only lead they've had the last 3 months.
mm,
And when I say that, I don't mean, oh, pre-approve them and then have a terrible on fire deal for, a few months of your life, but making sure that every single lead gets treated with having a plan. It's not if they can buy a home, it's when. And even if you have that dumpster fire lead that hasn't had a job held a job for more than 3 months at a time in the last 2 years, if you can say, like, hey, this was where you were at, we need you to stay in this job until October 2026 or whatever.
mhm,
If you can give that plan and then be able to sum that up to an agent and say, hey, this is when they can buy, we see a lot of people, a lot of loan officers have lost hope in clients because they're just getting harder and crazier and it's just difficult. But if you can be that positive person for those agents and say, October 2026, this is going to be a paycheck in your pocket, and then you can be the one following up on that.
mm, mm.
That has been huge. Even, I mean, yeah, the agents, of course, they want you to say, yeah, you're pre-approved and you can go buy a house right now. But if you say like, hey, we're going to work on this for next fall and I'm going to follow up on them. That's the other thing too, is like once you have a lead that can't buy right now, it is extremely awkward for that agent to have to be the one following up with them
Mm.
because now they're following up. They're like, oh, yeah, Katie said you couldn't buy 4 months ago, but like, are you still
How's it going?
interested? And it's just like bad vibes all around. I've really taken ownership of that and been like, hey, it's not yet. This is when it is going to be. I have follow ups scheduled for these times. And then every time I'm following up, I'm touching the agent. I have one of my best agents is like, you, I forget that I even sent you these people. And I don't even need a CRM because I have Katie Poyzer to follow up on my leads for me, which
Ooh,
is not a good take, but that is how a lot of our agents operate anyway. So
wow.
if we can help them with
Yeah.
that, that's ideal.
Beautiful. That's amazing. So it's just so obviously the agents that they continue to give you good deals, not just bad deals, but you started with this conversation of, hey, I love the thought of you saying it might be their only lead that they have to work. And so they get deflated when the average lender says, sorry, can't help this person. Go get another one.
Hmm.
Right. So what does your process look like? As far as connecting with a new agent, introducing yourself to like what does that look like from your point of view? Because I think a lot of people, I mean, think about it. You got 2 years. In reality, you were new the year it was your real first year,
Hmm.
right? So how do you like I think a lot of people are like, okay, I've been in the business a long time and I ain't doing what Katie's doing. So what are you doing different when it comes to engaging, interacting, asking for the appointment? What's that process look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I think that the first couple years, like, if there's anyone on here that's newer to the industry, like, there's really no way around it. It sucks, right? Like, you're meeting with people, you don't really know if they're a good fit. We just had an event last week and we had 41 agents. I invited like 60 agents this, and I got 41 to show up on a Wednesday morning. And my fiance was like, I just think this is so cool. Like a year ago, you were working with agents who did not respect you, took up your time, would send you people at 7 p.m. on a Friday night and get mad that you couldn't pre-approve their self-employed income because you wanted an underwriter to look at it. And now like you've been able to weed out those people and like zero in on the agents that you want to work with. Um, and I think a big part of that has just been like using your mutual connections as much as you possibly can. So once you get this reputation with really just a few key agents, as someone who, like, I just used my agent Brooke as an example, who will say things like, "Ooh, I don't need a CRM because I have Katie." Like
Yeah.
that is going to help you get more appointments. You're not necessarily going to be cold calling people. Once you get a
Mm,
few people on your side, you're going to be able to say, okay, like, is there anyone else in your office that I should go after? And you'll be able to use their name to help you get the appointment. I haven't really like cold called anyone in the last year that like I didn't have some sort of connection going in. Maybe they came to me because they went to college, or maybe a client came to me because I went to college with them, but they came with another agent. I
Mhm.
will just like wait, make sure that that experience is the best buy side experience that agent has ever had, and then go to coffee after and ask for the business. My number one agent year to date, I did not know until July of last year when that exact thing happened. She was the agent.
Wow.
The client came to me separately. We rocked it, and now we've closed 9 deals together this year.
Wow. So good agent. Okay, cool. There's so many
Mhm.
directions I could go here. I want to go to the event. What was the event? Was it just you, sponsors? What did you talk about?
It's kind of a bad example because Shayla Gifford from Guild was going to come to Fargo and teach a class on generating leads. So obviously,
Okay.
not everyone has a big name like Shayla Gifford, but it's worthwhile to say that my agents don't know who she is. I mean, people in the mortgage industry know who she is. And then Shayla missed her connecting flight, and it was
Oh.
just me and Shayla on Zoom from Denver and 41 agents and a title company that sponsored breakfast and me sweating. But
You did it
this,
anyway. You did
yeah,
it.
we did it anyway.
You did it.
This is kind of a pivot, but I think that this is something that has helped. It ties back to this and a way to develop agent relationships quicker. So I read years ago, like this op-ed. It was not even like a business journal. It was just like, I don't know. It was probably in like the New York Times. I don't know. An op-ed, and it was talking about building close relationships with people and how so many people think that like becoming good friends with someone is about you being like a really good friend, like you showing up, you being the good friend, you doing all this stuff. But really, what creates deeper relationships quicker is asking for help and being vulnerable. So, yes, I am like
Mm,
there for my agents 100%. They know they can trust me, they know they can call me, they know that I'll do things all over for them. But I do that same thing back in like little ways that I can ask them for help and make them feel special. It has just made us feel like more than friends. Like I was making this comparison the other day. This is way off the wall, but you know how like when like guys will go to a strip club and the joke is like you guys always have a buddy that like is gonna fall in love with the stripper because they're gonna think it's real. Like that's me with my agents. Like I'm like, I gotta
uh,
add all these agents to our wedding. Like, we're getting married in October. I'm like, I'd add these to the guest list. And Jordan's like, they're not actually your friends. Like, these are business partners. I'm like, but I feel like they're friends. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I call them and I will like try to put those things out into the universe. Or like, I had to call a listing agent the other day who I did not know. I had to deliver some bad news. And I just went and I like looked at our mutual friends and I'm like, okay, who on this mutual friend list on Facebook, like, can I call and be like, hey, what is Matt like? Like, I have to give him
mm,
news that he
mm,
doesn't want to hear. What can
mm.
I expect? Not only does that help me approach the conversation differently with Matt, now I called him to give him bad news, but I have a coffee meeting with him next week. But also, it makes that agent feel special. Like, we're like, in this together because they were able to give me advice and like help me back. So I think a lot of
Wow.
times lenders feel
Wow.
like we need to be this like big professional person who is always strong and like not show our weaknesses because then they won't trust us. But like that's how you build deeper loyal relationships.
Yeah.
So if you find the right people, like that's only going to help. And it has made my job far more enjoyable to like who I am talking to, as opposed to just like trying to do tricks to gain these agents' approvals.
Did anybody else spit out their coffee there? Like I think Lynn did. I think Lynn spit out her coffee. That was so good. That was so good. I love how you put that because I think that hit home for everybody. So man, wow. So what I'm hearing you say is go deep, slow down, go deep, find something about the person that you can lean on that will make it a relationship, just not a transaction.
Yeah. And something else, which isn't going to be, it's not always going to be something that is needed, but for a short time last year in North Dakota, had a really good program that I did not have at the company that I was at. And I happily sent those elsewhere.
Mm,
And yeah, did I probably lose out on 20 grand in commission over those few months? 100%. But I thought that that was a way to deepen the trust even more with my agents to say, hey, like, if you're a first time home buyer that has no money can get a 1% lower rate elsewhere, like I care about that and them having a good experience and them feeling positively about this whole home buying thing more than I care about me getting a paycheck. And then 3 weeks after closing, they're at happy hour with their friends and find out that there was this program that they may be qualified for, but their agent
Mm,
referred them to a lender who didn't have it. And it's a whole thing. Um, so that was huge in building trust, but also it makes it easier for you to be the one person that they refer as opposed to three others, because your agent will say, hey, start with Katie, and if she can't help you, like, she will tell you. Like, I've known her, I've seen her do what's best for the client at her own expense, and I trust that she'll do that for you too. So don't go shop three people, just start with Katie, and if there's something there that she can't do, or if you don't like her, we can go elsewhere, but Katie won't BS you.
wow. Love it, love it, love it. If anybody has any questions for Katie, she's an open book, as you guys know. So no
You,
holding back today. All right. So what is your process like? So when you
oh
have
yeah,
a yeah, let's
that was the
see.
question. Sorry, then I was talking about strip clubs.
Oh,
Um, yeah. So typically, I will go. So I will try to find a mutual connection. Either we worked on a client before, or an agent has introduced us, or someone has introduced us, and we'll go to coffee. I If you didn't watch Allison Larson on the show last week, I basically rip off her coffee meeting. So we chit chat, we talk about business, ask who do you use as a lender, what do you like, what do you not like, is there kind of see if there's an opening for me. If they've
mm,
agreed to go to coffee, there almost always is.
mm,
um and then yeah, I'm not as great at the end of being like, yeah, so like, are you comfortable sending me your next lead? Like, I'm working on that. But typically I've noticed about 90% of them will send me a lead within a week, within like a month of us
wow.
meeting. And then I usually we talk about what, whatever naturally comes up. So like HomeBot, or like MBS report card, or like something if it comes up, or like a book, then I'll try to follow up and be like, hey, thanks so much. Attached is an example of HomeBot, like I was telling you, would love to help in any way that I can, let me know. And so that's kind of that part. And then when it comes to lead, I have really zeroed in on, let's get an application either way, whether that's they fill it out
Mm,
online in advance or we take it over the phone. And then say, once you get that app in, we can schedule an appointment. I am getting at least 9 out of 10 people to agree to an appointment with me, maybe more. And then in that appointment, I have like a first time home buyer. Uh, so something I didn't put on that stat sheet, but like of the 71 deals that we closed last year, like 52 of them were first time home buyers. So we're heavy on
wow.
that.
Wow.
So I have a first time
Okay.
home buyer thing. And then I just say, like, hey, like, how comfortable are you with buying a home? I have this thing. We can go through it as slow or as fast as you want. Every single person wants to go through it, even if they pretend like they know how to buy a home. They're always like, yeah, I know, but like, can you do it anyway? And every single person, like, it is basic stuff, guys. It's like, hey, before we even start talking about what you qualify for, we need to define the difference between down payment, closing costs, and cash to close. Because if you just jump in and talk about those three things, people don't understand it. I say, like, okay, closing day is when you part with the money. Like, first time buyers do not know this. Like, closing day is the day you part with the money, but there's two times you're going to spend money before closing day. This is your
Mm,
earnest money. This is your inspection. I don't care what the inspection says. This is what you're inspect. Like, I go through all of that. And I had someone who bought a home in 2015, sold it, and now her and her husband, it's her husband's first home. They've met with three lenders, and they came and met with me on Monday. And I was like, oh God, three lenders. Like, what am I gonna okay. And I went through it, and they were like, I literally learned more from you than I did the three other lenders combined. So I'm
wow.
winning them there because they already feel like, oh, I'm so much more educated. And then that only makes them more confident with their agent. So then the agent sees the value more than that. And I would say with move up buyers, I mean, it's a different presentation. I'm not like defining the word earnest money to move up buyers, but I think move up buyers are almost more important right now, because even if you have an 800 credit score and yeah, you can go get approved for a $750,000 mortgage. A lot of these people's mortgages are going to double or triple just because of the interest rate difference, plus the fact that they're buying a bigger home. So if you just spit out a pre-approval and say, yeah, congrats, you're pre-approved. This is great. This is going to be an easy loan for me. Every home right now is made up of couples, and there's two people. One person hates their house, hates the location, wants an extra bedroom, wants another baby, like can't stand
Mm,
their house. And the other
mm,
person is like, sorry, babe, we got a 2.5% interest rate. We can't move. And
mm,
if you get them to the point that they're talking to a lender and you just spit out a quote that triples their mortgage with no conversation about what does it look like to consolidate debt during this process, what does it look like to fund our kids 529 accounts with our $150,000 proceeds that we're going to get for selling this house. If you just spit it out, they're going to open up that quote and be like, told ya, we can't afford a $2,000 mortgage
mm,
increase. Whereas
mm,
I'm really showing people like, okay, yeah, your mortgage might be 1,200 bucks, but really you've got this car payment for 750, you've got this credit card, Amex for 50,000. Like really you're paying $3,500 a month anyway. What if we just were able to still have your output, your cash output every month be pretty similar, but I was able to get you that extra bedroom, but I was able to get you to the other side of town. Then they're like, "Oh,
wow.
I never would have thought about that, but that makes a ton of sense." We're converting a ton of move up buyers that way right now.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. What if? Like it's back to the what if question. What if I could?
Mhm.
Yeah. So when it comes, so tell us about, because you really didn't have a database when you started, right? So it was 100%.
Mm-mm.
It was 100% all agents. I mean, I just want people to understand this. I put her numbers in the thing. You guys can see that this happen. This can happen fast, so fast. And so you just have to put yourself out there. What is, knowing what you know now, 2 years in? Would you do anything different from the start, or would you do the exact same thing? Like,
I think I would have gotten braver sooner when it comes to sitting down with coffee. But
mm,
I also know, like, I don't really know how you overcome that as a new person because I would have a leader telling me, like, oh, yeah, like take agents out. I was like, I literally don't know what to say. I don't know
yeah.
what, and I went to a one mortgage conference in September of 2022. And that was really like the first eye-opening moment of like, holy cow, like people do this and they make it fun and it's not just all stuffy bankers. And like, this is actually a really cool industry. And like, that really gave me a lot of motivation. Um, but on a ton of I think I had to get the confidence to go meet with agents. And when I first started, I thought the confidence came from having closed a lot of loans and knowing my guidelines. Now I know that my confidence comes from I have seen loan estimates of people screwing their clients and not being transparent. I
Mm,
have heard horror stories from other agents of lenders who don't answer their phone for 3 days. I have heard of all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, know that I am better than that. I know that I may miss up a guideline. I may, give someone wrong information, but I am going to do I need to do to make it right. I'm never going to blame someone else. I'm never going to shut the blinds and not answer my phone for 3 days. Like, I know that I can do better than all of that. And I do have a heart for people. And like right now, I'm helping this guy who's first generation American. He just graduated college. He's an engineer. He's like done everything right. Like he is like changing his family tree and he's buying a house for his like parents and him to live in. And I am
mm.
like so excited for him, making sure like we're dialed in on rate and everything is like, and I know for a fact that no one else is going to do better by him. And I like if you're struggling with confidence as a newer lender, I would say find a couple agents that you trust and just ask them like, "Hey, can you tell me like your worst lending story? Like what is the worst thing that's ever happened to you with a mortgage lender?" It's not, "Oh,
Mm,
they thought that they
mm,
were approved conventional, we had to flip it FHA at the last minute." It's not those types of things. All the stories are always like, "The cash to close went up $10,000 the night before closing."
mm,
Okay, well, if
mm.
our cash to close goes up $10,000 the night before closing, like,
We
I'm
gotta
not getting
shit.
paid on that loan. I'm doing something to leave it all on the table to go for the long haul as opposed to like the short-term paycheck.
Do you think, being humble, because like you're an open book, you're humble, you're an educator, you're a teacher, you have a heart. Do you think some of that is like, some people, I think they get to a point where I've been in the business 10 years, 20 years, and they just think they almost come across as knowing it all. I don't know what another way to say it, but you think the humbleness, the newness has a play in this, or just because, I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
I think I don't know if the humbleness does maybe, but I would say like I'm young enough so when I started in mortgage, I didn't own a home. So
Okay.
like I didn't understand what escrow was. I had the mortgage director, a high mortgage lender producer, and my boss all in a room trying to explain to me what an escrow account was. And I was like, what? Like these three people could not explain to me what an escrow account was. I'm on
Mm,
YouTube looking
mm,
up what an escrow account is.
mm.
And I was actually thinking about this the other day. Like, I'm so glad I made that first time home buyer like uh what my gosh
Presentation.
slideshow when I did, because I think now, even just being in it 3 years talking about it every single day, I would have already forgotten that people
Mm,
need earnest money to find. Like, I even see it with my loan partner, who is wonderful, humble, the most amazing communicator, great with people, but she's been in it for 20 years. She'll shoot off
yeah.
an email and she'll say things and like just terms, and I'm like, oh, the client doesn't know what that means. Like,
Mm,
and I have to be like, hey, remember, like they don't, like I literally, she
yeah.
sent off an appraisal the other day, and I had this 24-year-old text me, hey, so what is an appraisal? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
forget that people don't
Yeah.
know it. So I think that's where the people ahead of me, where I'm beating those people. It's like I'm assuming that these people know nothing because I remember what it was like to know nothing,
Yeah.
which I don't see with people who have been in it 20 years. And I feel that way because even like if I do 4 pre-approval meetings in one day, by the fourth one, I don't want to explain it as well as I did the first time. Like I'm just tired of hearing my own voice. I'm tired of talking about we divide your insurance by 12, blah, blah, but like you have to, because that's
Yeah.
what leaves those clients, has those clients leaving exciting.
That's why I think that's what I was kind of trying to say is I think we forget how they don't know what we're talking about. We do it 5 times a day, 4 times a day, 3 times a day, 20 times a week, and we just get like, okay, they know it, and we forget about the necessity to explain it at a huge detail. I think that's why you're doing so well because you do have that mindset. And so for anybody listening, that might be going back to the basics and going, all right, they don't know what an escrow account is, the simple stuff. So um yeah, somebody asked if you go to closings.
Yeah, Missy, my
Okay.
loan partner's on respond. She
Hey,
responded.
Missy.
Yes, all the shouts to her, fixing all my mistakes that I just said were no big deal. She's probably like, "Yeah, they actually are a big deal, Katie. I just fixed them for you." Um, yes, so I do go to as many closings as possible, and I do gifts. So I don't have as good of a system. Like we've started doing the sackcloth and ashes blankets this year, where if you buy a blanket through sackcloth and ashes, they donate one to the homeless shelter in the zip code at which you bought it.
Mhm.
So people love that because that's like, hey, also you got this cool blanket and it's super nice, but also it's supporting. I can like name the homeless shelter in town that it's supporting, so that's really great.
Yeah,
Um, I have done like I do have a bunch of packing supplies in my closet, and I will send out like, congratulations, you're under contract. Here's like your moving survival kit that has like Advil, um, packing tape, like cute stuff like that. And then I have like little critter moving books if I know they have a kid. Like if they're just little things like that, or like honestly, if I know
so
that they
cool.
might shop me, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make them feel bad. I have like a young couple right now where I just sent them a coffee card, like, congrats, you're under contract. Like, here's some caffeine to help you through the moving boxes. So it's a little bit more, to be honest, like when I'm thinking about it and
Mhm,
who would appreciate it, because I
mhm.
know that those little touches are super cool. But when you're not running like $100 million business, it gets really expensive to do it for every single person. But yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, closing gifts, I do a closing gift for everyone.
awesome, awesome, very cool. Anything else for Katie? Devin, what do you think, man? It's
Oh no,
kinda
killer, man, killer. And what I love is, you ask for first time home buyers. That's what you lead in with. That's what you get, right? And I think that's one thing that people have to realize is like we get what we ask for, right? So at the end of the day, just get out there and ask. Who's Missy? Is this does she work
that's
with
a
you?
loan officer assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, where you at, Missy? I love this because you're in the background, like, filling in the blanks and dropping all these links. What does Missy do for your business?
Everything. She has literally done everything. She has been like throughout her entire career. I mean, she's processor, loan officer assistant. She's ran a disclosure desk. She's ran
Wow.
a mortgage brokerage. Like she's done all it all. Currently she is purchase agreement to closing
Mhm.
and calculating my tough pre-approval income.
Love that.
So
Love it.
that's kind of where we have her now, where she is like point of contact for conditional approval, all that follow-up stuff. And then yeah, when we are getting an influx of pre-approvals, ideally, because she is also still doing some processing for me, depending on like what our pipeline looks like month to month. So ideally, we're going to shift her to be like a lot more client facing sooner and get someone to do more of the processing. But we got to get a little bit higher in our volume first.
Well,
So
at what
we're on our
point in
way.
time were you able to introduce a Missy? Like, when were you able to say, man, you know what? I'm at this point. I need that person in my business right now.
Coming to Guild in October. So I worked with Missy. Missy's and I have worked at 3 companies together now. So she was at the bank. I like had her in my life, but she wasn't mine. And then when last year I was very up and down. So like I closed 71 loans, but it was not consistent. It was like 5 loans this month, 13 loans the next month, because of course I would have 13 loans and then I can't do anything else because I'm doing everything in the business. So Shayla Gifford was imperative of being like, yeah, we gotta like get you your own person. So she came with me to Guild. So yeah, basically at the end of my $20 million year, we were able to introduce her.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Congrats, my friend.
And are you
Congrats.
finding that you're able to get more done now that you have somebody on the back end that's dedicated to help with all this?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like sometimes I go to the close, I'm like, oh, like I kind of forgot this was a thing. This is cool. And like I'm doing so much, yeah, I'm doing so much up front. Um, like the quotes, the
Love it.
quoting and stuff. That's another thing. Like I know this is a time suck, but I also know it helps me from being shopped and keeps people sticky to me. Is I tell people like anytime you want to see a quote on a home, let me know. Like we are in an economy where $50 means a lot to people, and these loan officers that have this attitude of like, if that doesn't, if that's gonna change, you probably shouldn't buy a house. Well, yeah, but have you looked at a pipeline lately? Like things are not easy out here for people. So I will run 15 different home quotes for someone if they want it, if that's what's going to make them feel comfortable. And agents love that too. So
Love it. Love it. I know we're at the bottom of the hour. One question for everybody on the call. Would it be a benefit to have a loan officer assistant on the call? Would put a yes or no in that? Like, would it be beneficial to kind of interview one or yes? Okay. Okay. Cool. All right.
All
All
right,
right,
Bessie,
Katie.
you're up.
Missy. Cool. Hey, Katie, any final words? I sincerely appreciate you. I think you're awesome. I think that we'll come back in 1 year and see you double again and again and again and again. You're just an amazing person. Stay humble. I think is the what I'm hearing is the key to success. Stay real, stay human. Humanize this. Don't remove that piece that you so inspiringly have. And I think you'll do amazing things. So,
someone said where to hire from. Yeah, I would love that too, because I mean, I got lucky that I met Missy years and years ago, but the
yeah,
thought of bringing on another team member, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, where do you even start?
yeah,
It'd be a
cool. All
great,
right,
it'd be a
all
great
right,
show.
all right. I will look for that as well. And so, without further ado, Devin, Katie, appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you so much for sharing with the group. And same time, same place tomorrow. Everybody have an amazing day. Take action, and we'll see you on the web. Take care,
And
everybody.
bring some people
Thanks,
back.
Pat.
Bring some people tomorrow.
It might seem crazy.